Hi guys, how are you? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Lauren. If this is your first time here, and I just wanted to come on here and talk to you guys. Yeah, I didn't have anything planned or anything. It's a really pretty day, and oh, the Clark sisters bioptic just came out, and I just wanted to talk to you guys about that. Everybody was talking about it over Easter weekend. I think that was really smart for Lifetime to put that movie on like around the time of Easter and everything, because church and gospel and all that stuff go together. But it was really good. Like our whole family got together and we watched it as a family. um First of all, like before I get into it, I thought it was executed really well. I think they picked the right people for the parts. I think the acting was good. Everything, considering that it's a Lifetime movie, I think, even despite it being a Lifetime movie, I think the movie was really good. It took me back to, my childhood in a lot of ways. I would give it a 7 or 8 out of 10. I wouldn't give it a perfect 10 because I feel like there were some things that were missing from the story. Like when I watch a biography or a bioptic or something, I want to know the background, the backstory, like what actually happened to get the people where they are, or how the song was made, or what inspired the song. The movie jumped around a lot, and it's kind of jarring how it moved around a lot. They would do something here and then jump around to 10 years later. I go from they would go from Is My Living in Vain to Sunshine, and not talk about how things were made, what inspired the events and everything. So that's something that I wish that there was more of. Of course, what the information that we got was very interesting, and I just wish that there were more layers and more story. I feel like there was enough material there to go. There was enough material for a series, to be honest. You know how New Edition had their series a couple of years ago that was on BET, and that was very well done. We loved that in our house. But with the Clark sisters, that's what they should have done. It broke my heart to see how Denise was treated. I don't know how much of that is true. I do know that the ladies don't speak to Denise to this day, and there's a lot of resentment and hurt there. That just really hurts my heart, especially to see church people acting like that, who should know better. The thing about that too, and church people and everything, they forget, or people forget, that they're human beings too, and they're not without fault and without flaws. Yeah, we're fallen people, but like we need to look to Jesus to, you know, to fix it. So that's what was annoying, like seeing how the Kojic leaders were very hypocritical towards Mama. And oh my gosh, speaking of Mama, she was hilarious. I didn't know a lot about their mother. I didn't know a lot about her at all, about how she nurtured them and taught them everything that they knew about music and everything. It was so interesting to watch her, and my dad was getting a kick out of seeing her and her mannerisms. She was so funny. She's a phenomenal actress. I don't want to say her name because I feel like I'll butcher it. So, but yeah, she did a phenomenal job. I would have liked to see her story develop more too, because we just saw her being in that abusive relationship and everything, and then having to leave. Yeah, I just think that is very interesting what the Kojic leaders were strict on. Like, they'll hone in on or be very strict about where the sisters and Maddie could perform. Like, they were mad about them performing at the Grammys and everything, but they didn't have anything to say about you know, her being in an abusive relationship or whatever. That's what gets me, like the picking and choosing, like what's wrong and what can get you demoted from your position. Yeah, that hurt my heart how they did Denise. And then, like, I thought it was really interesting how, you know, not Denise, what am I talking about? How Maddie was portrayed as, you know, she was the Joe Jackson of the family and pushed the girls to be the success that they were. A lady that I follow here on YouTube, she has a YouTube page called For Harriet, but her name is Kimberly. She mentioned this, and it was very interesting. She was like, what's the trade-off for that kind of excellence and like pushing your kids to that kind of excellence? Like, you push them really hard and then they're great, but then they have all of these emotional traumas later. Like, we see that with the Jacksons too. Like, look at how successful Joe pushed his kids to be, but they got married to get away from him, and like a whole bunch of did a whole bunch of detrimental things to themselves to get away from him. And so it's just like you have to decide what's worth it to you. I don't know. But yeah, like back to the jumping around, like I really enjoyed seeing the singing and everything. The tidbits that we got were so interesting, but the last 30 minutes were so rushed to me. They kept alluding to the fact that Karen was like the Michael Jackson of the family, but they didn't show how that album came to be, and how it was very successful, and how it was named finally Karen because it took her so long to put out a solo album. I can remember growing up on that album. That was, oh my god, it's so cute. There was a video that we watched when we were kids of Karen like performing songs from that album, and she had Kiera on it with her, and it was the sweetest thing. And I don't know why, but when we were watching it, I was getting like emotional. I cry at movies all the time, but I was getting emotional because, oh my gosh, it's Kiera playing her mom. I don't know, something about that made me emotional. I was like, this is so sweet, and how special that is to be able to portray your mother in something like this. But like, of course, there were some things that I wish would have been done better, could have been delved into better, but for what we got, I think it was very good. I think that no, I read that this was the highest rated or the most watched Lifetime movie for the network in about 4 or 5 years, which is awesome. So like, there's a desire for material like this, and like black people will turn out to watch stuff like if you give it to them. So that's why I think it's needed to keep making, like, this is a good base, but I feel like there's stepping stones to, you know, make it better. Like, if we're given the opportunity to continue to make good art, we will make good art. That's why I was kind of disappointed in Self-Made, the Madam C.J. Walker biopic. Like, we watched the pilot and it just wasn't hitting like it should have. I love Octavia Spencer and everything. I think she was doing the best with what she was given, but there were so many things that were taking you out of the element of that story to try to make it more interesting when I feel like her story is already interesting. I'm glad that we're getting more biographies. I'm looking forward to the Aretha Franklin biopic that's coming on later. Yeah, what did you guys think about the movie? I thought it was good, but it did leave some things to be desired. Like, I really did wish that like, we got to see more. I left the movie and I still didn't know, about, I didn't know how Finally Karen came about. Just like all about like the money aspect, because we always see that too, how black artists don't always make the wisest decisions when it comes to money with their group and managing the money, because they're not taught and we're not educated in that way. So I think that's really good to show how artists mess up in those ways, so artists right now can know to be smart with their money. That was really interesting, seeing how Twinkie gave away rights to the songs, and how, like, yo, you don't want to do that. Like, I know that now after watching several other music biopics, that you never want to sell away rights to your song. So yeah, I thought it was a good show. Like I said, it left some things to be desired, but yeah, I thought it was really good. So let's talk about what you thought about the show in the comment section down below, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Yeah, this is really informal. Like, it just felt like talking to you guys. So I hope you all enjoyed it, and if you want to talk about more shows together, let me know. All right, bye.